There's definitely strong cons, there's definitely strong pros, and really it's for you to decide if you want to go this route. And if you did, I've gone this route and I want to share some tips of what you should look for. So when starting, you want to learn your due diligence stuff. You want to go talk to the city, talk to the planning department, talk to the building department, talk to the fire marshal, talk to the health department. Learn all of your deal killers up front so that you can say, I cannot be in this area, or this area. But perhaps now you have some options. You have some zoning options that you are able to do, and you can plug that into a map and say, okay, here's where I want to look. And when I'm looking for houses, here's what I think is the best way to go. I want to find a single story. I definitely never want to have a second story home there, right? So I want to have a single story, perhaps a ranch house. So I bought a 1970s ranch house, right? It was all single level, and then I had a bigger lot. I was on 1 acre. So I was able to expand to the side and to the backyard to ultimately add about another 3,500 square feet and 8 more bedrooms and bathrooms. I think that's the best way to go. You may not need to start with a house so big. You might actually be able to start with a 1,500 square foot, 2,000 square foot, a small house, and just literally use that entire house for your great room, for your kitchen, for your office, for your living area, and then build off to the left and build off to the right. Here's 8 bedrooms over there. Here's 8 bedrooms over here. That may be the easiest way to go. A small house on a big lot, and there's plenty of space for parking, right? Like that may be the easiest path, and say, you know what, architect, let's design this and let's add a wing over here and a wing over here. The other thing that is important to consider is parking. You will have a lot of cars on your property at some points. You may have a minimum that's only a few cars. So literally for me, the state says I only need 1 parking spot for every 4 residents, right? So that's really only 4 parking spots that they're requiring. I can tell you from experience, there are plenty of times where I have 10 to 15 cars at our assisted living. And it's really the staffing overlap between 2 different shifts. You're gonna have 2 caregivers here, 2 caregivers here, then I have 2 managers, then I have a chef, maybe Laura shows up. There's a whole bunch of cars already. Then I have a couple families that are visiting, and then I have hospice and home health. All of those people, they all seem to come at the same time, right? It's like Monday at 11 o'clock. That's when everyone shows up. And it's like, man, my driveway is full. If you only had 4 parking spots, there's no way you'd have space for this. So for me, I like having a bigger lot. I like 1 acre as a minimum for one of our mansions. And I like to have it where I can have my staff parking on the side out of the way. I don't want all of my staff cars in the driveway in the front. I like to have that space for my tours, for my family to come visit and park. So I'll put a U-shaped driveway in the front, and then I'll have like more of an L along the side of the property and keep all my staff parking over there. The last tip that I would give you is if you're gonna buy an existing home and convert it, don't buy a beautiful house. Don't spend money on something that is top of the market, because you're probably gonna have to gut that house. When you start learning about ADA requirements, when you start learning about the bathroom sizes, the bedroom sizes you're gonna need, if you have a beautiful house, you might have to demo it down to the studs. You might have to move walls. You might have to remove your kitchen cabinets because it doesn't have a 3-compartment sink if your health department requires that kind of stuff, or commercial components in there. You might start with this beautiful house you paid top of the line for and demo it all down and just wasted a couple $100,000. For me, I would think it's better to start with an outdated house that's single story and maybe small with a big lot in the right area. I want to be in an affluent area. I want to check the zoning. I don't mind being on the outskirts of the city. I think that's a better way to go anyways. So to kind of put this all together for you, there is a lot of advantage to this. I think it's easier to understand. It's easier to get into. But having gone through this and now building new construction, to be honest, I will only build new construction from here on out because of the 2 biggest reasons. My staffing challenges, which ultimately means when there's more challenges, then my managers get more issues, then I get more issues, and I want to be a passive owner. I want to work 4 hours a week, and I can best do that with a purpose-built house. The second is the finances. I can legitimately add at least $12,000 more in profit per month from a purpose-built building than from going and converting a house. Those 2 things are ultimately my goal. How do I make $500,000 a year and work 4 hours a week? I can do that best with a purpose-built building or with a conversion, but I tell you what, it will be much more difficult to do it the way you want to do it.